Now the word Sotapanna consists of two words, Sota and Apana. Sota can mean a stream, and it can also mean ear, E-A-R, ear. And Apana means entered. So normally people translate the word Sotapanna as stream enterer, but it can also mean an ear enterer. That means the ear has been penetrated by Dhamma, right? And if you look into the suttas, that is probably the more correct translation, because the Buddha's disciples are called savakas, listeners, and they have understood the Dhamma. Now, there is one sutta that says the factors for attaining Sotapanna is also called Sotapatti Yangani. There are 4 factors for you to attain Sotapanna. First one, you have to associate with true men. True men means the people who understand the true Dhamma. So the first one, association with true men. The second one, hearing the true Dhamma. Okay, hearing the true Dhamma. The third one, having proper attention, yoniso manasikara, or thorough consideration. The fourth one, practice of Dhamma in accordance with Dhamma. That means living your life according to Dhamma. That means keeping the precepts and all that. So you see, the factors for attaining Sotapanna, association with true men, hearing the true Dhamma. This is the important point. Third one, having proper attention. This is also another important point. And then living according to Dhamma. So from here again, you find it is more probable Sotapanna is attained by listening to the Dhamma. In the Anguttara Nikaya 4.180, the Buddha said, if any monk says that such and such is the teaching of the Buddha, then without scorning his words and without welcoming his words, you should compare what he says to be the true teachings of the Buddha with the suttas and the Vinaya books. Now Vinaya books don't concern lay people, so you're only concerned with the suttas . So whenever anybody says such and such is the teachings of the Buddha, you should always compare it with the suttas. That is why you need a good understanding of the suttas. Then you can differentiate between a teacher who teaches the true Dhamma and a teacher who has wrong view . Now there's one sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 3.85, and another one, 9.12, also Anguttara Nikaya, where the Buddha said, a Sotapanna and a Sakadagamin have perfect sila. Sotapanna and Sakadagamin are the first and the second fruitions of the Aryas, with the first and second fruitions. They have perfect sila, perfect moral conduct. Anagamin, the third stage, they have perfect sila and perfect samadhi. And Arahants have perfect sila, perfect samadhi, and perfect panya. That means perfect moral conduct, concentration, and wisdom. So you find from these two suttas that the Anagamin, the third stage, and the Arahants, the fourth stage, they must have perfect concentration to attain that. That is why you know that Anagamins are reborn in the fourth jhana plane, right? All Anagamins, most of the Anagamins, some can also be reborn in the Arupa jhana realm, but most of them are reborn in the fourth jhana plane, which shows that Anagamins generally have 4 jhanas, and Arahants also. But the interesting part here is that the Sotapanna and the Sakadagamin, they don't have perfect samadhi. That means they don't need jhana. You don't need jhana to become a Sotapanna and Sakadagamin. Now the difference between the Sotapanna and Sakadagamin is that the Sakadagamin have reduced the greed, hatred, and delusion. Right? Now to reduce the greed, hatred, and delusion, you need a certain amount of samadhi. Because greed, hatred, and delusion are connected with the 5 hindrances. The first hindrance is sensual desire. It's a kind of greed. And the second hindrance is ill will or anger. And that is related to hatred. So greed, hatred and delusion, if they are reduced, that means that person has a certain amount of samadhi, not perfect, but a certain amount of samadhi. So the Sotapanna has not reduced his greed, hatred and delusion, you see, unlike the Sakadagami. So that is why it further corroborates the view or the belief that the Sotapanna only listens to the Dhamma and attains Sotapanna. Now, in Samyutta Nikaya 55.1.2, it is mentioned that the characteristics of a Sotapanna are 4. First one, he has unshakable faith in the Buddha. Second, he has unshakable faith in the Dhamma. Third, he has unshakable faith in the Sangha. And the fourth one, he has perfect virtue. Perfect virtue. So these are the characteristics of a Sotapanna. No mention of meditation. Now, in Anguttara Nikaya 3.9.85, it is said that all Aryas can still have minor transgressions of the precepts. Even though it is stated that they have perfect virtue, it does not preclude minor transgressions of the precepts. For example, in the Samyutta Nikaya 55.3.4, there is a mention of a Sakyan by the name of Sarakani. And this man, Sarakani, passed away. And when Sarakani passed away, people came to ask the Buddha, where has Sarakani taken rebirth? And the Buddha said something to the effect that don't worry about Sarakani. Sarakani has already become Sotapanna. And when the word went around that the Buddha said that Sarakani was a Sotapanna, it seems that some people got very annoyed. Why? Because they said that Sarakani failed in the training and took to drink. Failed in the training, according to the commentaries, means that he failed in the training of a monk. That means Sarakani used to be a monk, and then he disrobed. Okay? And then the second point was that he took to drink. The fact that the people got angry with the Buddha because Sarakani took to drink and the Buddha called him a Sotapanna meant that Sarakani probably did not take a little drink. He probably took quite a lot of drink. So because he drank quite a lot and people saw that he drank quite a lot, so people found it hard to believe that he was a Sotapanna. So that shows that the state of a Sotapanna is not as high as some people think. Now, in another sutta, Majjhima Nikaya number 14, a cousin of the Buddha by the name of Mahanama came to see the Buddha, and he said something to the Buddha to the effect of, Bhagava, Lord, he said, for a long time I've studied the Dhamma, and I know that greed, hatred and delusion are defilements of the mind. And even though I know that greed, hatred and delusion are defilements of the mind, sometimes I can't help it. Greed, hatred and delusion control my mind, and I'm led astray by greed, hatred and delusion. And then he asked the Buddha, is there some quality I have not cultivated yet which makes me be led astray by greed, hatred and delusion? Mahanama asked the Buddha whether there was some quality he had not cultivated that made him still be led astray by greed, hatred and delusion. And the Buddha said, yes. The Buddha said that even if an Aryan disciple has seen with wisdom that greed, hatred and delusion, that sensual desire is wrong, yet unless he has attained piti and sukha, delight and happiness, he he will still be led astray by sensual desire. Now this piti and sukha, delight and happiness, are two factors of the state of jhana, the state of concentration. Jhana can be translated as a state of mental incandescence, when the mind becomes bright because it is so concentrated and one-pointed. And so unless we attain one-pointedness of mind and experience a bliss which is higher than sensual desire, we can't help but be led astray, become a slave of sensual desire. So now according to the commentaries, Mahanama, this cousin of the Buddha, was already a Sakadagamin at that time, when he said this. But I have some doubts, because he said that he is led astray by greed, hatred and delusion. Probably means that his greed, hatred and delusion are not reduced. Now in a Sakadagamin, the greed, hatred and delusion are reduced. But since he's still led astray by greed, hatred and delusion, probably he's only a Sotapanna. You see? So that again shows that the state of a Sotapanna is not as high as some people think. It's just listening to the teachings of the Buddha and having a shallow understanding of the four Aryan truths. This teaching about the four Aryan truths is a very powerful teaching. If you know that life is suffering and there is a way out of suffering, and the fact that we can see that our life is very limited. As a human being, you know that on the average, you live up to 70 years of age, right? Now, so you can see the number of years you have left is very limited, and you can really see impermanence. That is why human beings they tend to be able to cultivate the spiritual path because of that fact that we see impermanence. Whereas if you are a deva, you have so much blessings, but you don't see impermanence here because your lifespan is in terms of millions of years. And if you are in the woeful planes, you see impermanence, but you don't have the blessing to cultivate, right? When you're hungry all the time, you don't think of cultivation, you must think of how to find something to satisfy your hunger, isn't it? So it's only the humans that have this capacity to cultivate the holy life. So the point here is that Sotapanna is not so high as some people think. We need to learn the suttas and have understand that there is a way out of samsara. And once you know that there is a way out of samsara, you will naturally turn your direction in that towards that path. So slowly you will enter upon that path and finally escape from the samsara, the round of rebirths.